Kara, a slave from the distant planet of Thalios, endured her brutal existence under the rule of the alien overlord Kralith. Her days were filled with back-breaking labor, and her nights were haunted by the cruelty of her captors. Her spirit, once vibrant and free, had been worn down to a shadow of its former self. In the fortress where she was held, whispers of rebellion were met with swift and merciless punishment. Kara had long ago stopped dreaming of freedom, her hope replaced by a numb acceptance of her fate. But fate had different plans. One fateful day, the fortress shook with the rumble of explosions. The sky above turned red with the glow of battle. Kralith's forces scrambled to defend their stronghold against an unexpected attacker. Amid the chaos, a group of human rebels, led by Captain Victor Reynolds, breached the walls. Victor, a seasoned fighter with a reputation for daring raids against tyrannical regimes, fought his way through the fortress with single-minded determination. His team was on a mission to rescue captured allies and disrupt Kralith's operations. As they advanced, Victor stumbled upon a locked cell, its occupant a broken yet resilient Thalian woman. Their eyes met through the bars, and in that moment, something in Victor shifted. He saw not just another victim of war, but a person whose spirit had been crushed, but not entirely extinguished. Without a word, he blasted the lock and swung the door open. "Come with me if you want to live," he said, extending his hand to her. Kara hesitated, her eyes wide with disbelief and fear, but something in Victor's gaze gave her the strength to take his hand. Together, they ran through the smoke-filled corridors, dodging blasts and evading Kralith's soldiers. The fortress was in disarray, giving them the cover they needed to make their escape. As they reached the ship, Victor's crew provided cover fire, ensuring their path was clear. They boarded the vessel, and within moments, the ship lifted off, leaving the burning fortress behind. Kara's heart raced as she looked out at the stars, her mind struggling to comprehend her sudden liberation. She turned to Victor, who was already coordinating with his team. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice trembling. Victor glanced at her and nodded. "You're safe now. We'll get you as far away from Kralith as possible." For the first time in years, Kara allowed herself to feel a glimmer of hope. Her journey to freedom had just begun. Victor and his crew, with Kara now aboard, sped through space, navigating through enemy territory with skill and precision. The spaceship, a heavily modified freighter named Horizon, was equipped with advanced stealth technology and powerful engines, making it one of the fastest ships in the sector. Kara sat in the ship's medical bay, where the crew's medic, Dr. Helena Voss, tended to her wounds. As Helena worked, she asked Kara about her injuries and her time as a slave. Kara was hesitant at first, but Helena's gentle demeanor coaxed her into sharing fragments of her story. Meanwhile, Victor was on the bridge coordinating their escape route. His first officer, Lieutenant Jackson Hayes, monitored the sensors for any signs of pursuit. "We've got company," Jackson said, his voice tense. "Kralith ships are closing in fast." Victor frowned. "Prepare for evasive maneuvers. We can't afford to be caught now." The Horizon swerved and twisted through space, its sleek design allowing it to outmaneuver the bulkier ships of Kralith's fleet. Kara watched the view screen, her heart pounding as she saw the enemy ships drawing closer. Helena finished her treatment and gave Kara a reassuring smile. "You're going to be okay. We'll keep you safe." Kara nodded, though she wasn't sure she believed it. The reality of her situation was overwhelming. She had been a slave for so long that freedom felt like a distant dream. On the bridge, Victor's hands flew over the controls. "Engage the cloaking device," he ordered. The ship shimmered and vanished from sight, confusing the pursuing ships. Victor used the momentary distraction to plot a course through a nearby asteroid field. The Horizon weaved between the massive rocks with practiced ease, leaving the enemy ships behind. When they were finally clear, Victor let out a sigh of relief. "We did it. They've lost our trail." Jackson grinned. "Nice flying, Captain. We're in the clear for now." Victor nodded, but his mind was already on the next steps. They needed a safe place to regroup and plan their next move. He turned to Jackson. "Set a course for Oris. We need to lie low for a while." Kara, still feeling the weight of her ordeal, approached Victor. "Thank you for saving me," she said quietly. Victor looked at her, his expression softening. "You don't have to thank me. No one deserves to live in chains. You're free now." Kara felt a lump in her throat. "I don't know what to do with this freedom." Victor placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "We'll figure it out together." As the Horizon cruised through the relative safety of space, Kara began to acclimate to her new environment. The crew welcomed her cautiously, each member curious about the new addition to their ranks. Kara found herself fascinated by the diversity of humans and their technology. Victor spent time with her, explaining the ship's systems and introducing her to the crew. There was Jackson, the stoic and reliable first officer, Helena, the compassionate medic, Marcus, the grizzled engineer, and Lila, the sharp-witted pilot. Each had their own story of hardship and rebellion, which made Kara feel less alone in her journey. One evening, as the ship drifted through a serene starfield, Victor and Kara found themselves alone in the observation deck. The vastness of space stretched out before them, a reminder of both the dangers they faced and the possibilities that lay ahead. "Do you miss your home?" Victor asked, breaking the comfortable silence. Kara's eyes glistened as she gazed at the stars. "Every day, but it's been so long that it feels like a distant memory." Victor nodded. "I know what it's like to lose your home. My family was wiped out by a hostile takeover when I was a child. It's part of why I fight, to prevent others from experiencing that pain." Kara turned to him, her expression softening. "You're different from anyone I've ever met. Your compassion, it's rare." Victor chuckled. "Most people wouldn't call me compassionate, but I believe in justice, in fighting for those who can't fight for themselves." Kara felt a warmth spread through her chest. "I never thought I'd meet someone like you, someone who cares." Their conversation was interrupted by an alarm from the bridge. They rushed to join the rest of the crew, where Jackson was already analyzing the situation. "We've got a distress signal," Jackson reported. "It's coming from a nearby moon." Victor's brow furrowed. It could be a trap, but if it's not, someone's in trouble. Kara stepped forward. "We should help them. It's what you do, right?" Victor met her gaze and nodded. "Prepare for a rescue mission. We'll approach cautiously and see what we're dealing with." The crew sprang into action, their camaraderie and efficiency evident. Kara watched them work, feeling a sense of belonging she hadn't known in years. As the ship altered course toward the distress signal, she realized that her life had changed irrevocably since Victor freed her. For the first time, she felt a flicker of hope for a future where she could be more than a slave, where she could fight alongside these brave souls for a better galaxy. And with Victor by her side, anything seemed possible. The Horizon arrived at the coordinates of the distress signal, a desolate moon orbiting a massive gas giant. Victor and his team approached cautiously, their weapons ready. Kara, now armed with basic combat training, joined them, determined to contribute. The moon's surface was barren, pockmarked with craters and rocky outcrops. The distress signal led them to a crashed freighter, its hull scorched and smoking. As they approached, a group of survivors emerged from the wreckage, their eyes filled with desperation. "We're here to help," Victor announced, scanning the area for any signs of danger. One of the survivors, a grizzled man named Ryan, stepped forward. "Thank the stars you came. We were ambushed by Krylith's forces and barely made it here. They're still out there, hunting us." Victor's jaw tightened. "We need to get you out of here before they return. Everyone, back to the ship." Just as they began to move, the ground trembled. From the shadows of the craters, Krylith's soldiers emerged, weapons blazing. The ambush was swift and brutal, forcing the crew into a desperate firefight. Victor and his team fought back fiercely, their blasters lighting up the dark landscape. Kara, despite her fear, stood her ground, her quick reflexes and newfound skills keeping her alive. She noticed a group of soldiers flanking their position and yelled a warning. "Left side! They're trying to surround us!" Victor responded instantly, directing his team to counter the threat. The battle raged on, the air thick with the scent of ozone and the sounds of explosions. Kara's heart pounded in her chest, but she remained focused, her determination unwavering. As the enemy forces began to waver, Victor seized the opportunity. We need to break through their lines and get back to the ship. On my mark, push forward." With a coordinated effort, the team surged ahead, cutting down the remaining soldiers and clearing a path to the horizon. The survivors followed, their faces etched with relief. They reached the ship, and within moments the engines roared to life, lifting them off the moon's surface. Inside the ship, the tension began to ease. Victor turned to the survivors. "You're safe now. We'll take you to Oris and get you the help you need." Ryan clasped Victor's hand. "We owe you our lives. Thank you." Victor nodded, then turned to Kara. "You did great out there. Your warning saved us." Kara managed a shaky smile. "I just did what I could." Victor's eyes softened, and that made all the difference. The horizon made its way to Oris, a planet known for its lush forests and hidden resistance bases. As they descended through the atmosphere, Kara marveled at the beauty of the planet. It was a stark contrast to the barren landscapes she had known for so long. The ship landed in a secluded clearing, and Victor led the group to an underground bunker. Inside, they were greeted by the leaders of the Resistance, a diverse group of individuals from various planets, all united in their fight against Kralith. Kara felt a sense of belonging as she listened to the Resistance leaders discuss their plans. She was introduced to Talia, a former slave who had become one of the Resistance's most formidable strategists. Talia's story resonated with Kara, and the two quickly formed a bond. Talia showed Kara around the base, explaining their operations and introducing her to other members. Kara was struck by the resilience and determination of these people, each with their own story of loss and defiance. She realized that she was not alone in her struggle, and that she could play a significant role in their fight. Victor and the crew of the Horizon were soon integrated into the Resistance's plans. They shared their knowledge and resources, strengthening the alliance. Kara found herself learning more about strategy and tactics, her confidence growing with each passing day. One evening, Talia pulled Kara aside. "There's something you need to know, your lineage. It's more significant than you realize." Kara frowned. "What do you mean?" Talia handed her an ancient scroll, its text written in the Thalian language. "You are a descendant of the Thalian royal family. Your ancestors were known for their wisdom and knowledge. This scroll contains secrets that could turn the tide of our battle against Kralith." Kara's hands trembled as she held the scroll. "I had no idea." Talia smiled. "Your bloodline carries great power. With this knowledge, we can unlock technology that has been hidden for centuries. You have the potential to lead us to victory." Kara felt a surge of determination. She had always felt powerless, but now she understood her true potential. She vowed to use this newfound knowledge to help the Resistance and bring down Kralith's empire. With the ancient scroll in hand, Kara and Talia worked tirelessly to decipher its contents. The scroll detailed advanced technologies and powerful strategies that had been lost to time. Kara's heritage became a beacon of hope for the Resistance, her knowledge invaluable in their fight. Victor, intrigued by Kara's discoveries, spent hours discussing plans and possibilities with her. Their bond deepened as they shared ideas and strategies, their mutual respect growing with each passing day. One night, as they pored over the scroll's intricate diagrams, Victor looked at Kara with admiration. "Your ancestors were remarkable, and so are you." Kara blushed, her eyes shining with gratitude. "I couldn't have done this without you. You gave me the chance to find my true self." Victor reached out and gently touched her hand. "We're a team, and together we can achieve anything." Their moment was interrupted by an urgent call from Jackson. "Captain, we've intercepted a transmission. Kralith's forces are planning an attack on one of our key bases. We need to move fast." Victor and Kara sprang into action, rallying the crew and the Resistance fighters. Using the knowledge from the scroll, they devised a strategy to defend the base and turn the attack into a trap for Kralith's forces. As they prepared for battle, Kara felt a sense of purpose she had never known before. She was no longer a helpless slave. She was a leader, a fighter, and a beacon of hope for her people. The day of the attack arrived, and the base buzzed with anticipation. Kara stood beside Victor, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and excitement. She knew that this battle could be a turning point in their fight against Krelith. The enemy forces arrived, their ships darkening the sky. But the resistance was ready. Using the ancient technologies and strategies, they launched a coordinated defense, catching Krelith's forces off guard. Kara fought with newfound confidence, her mind sharp and her movements precise. She directed troops and managed resources, her leadership inspiring those around her. Victor, by her side, fought with a fierce determination, his presence a constant source of strength. As the battle raged on, the tide began to turn in their favor. The enemy forces, overwhelmed and outmaneuvered, started to retreat. Cheers erupted from the resistance fighters as they realized their victory. Kara and Victor stood together, their eyes meeting in a moment of triumph. They had done it. They had not only defended the base, but had also dealt a significant blow to Krelith's empire. In the aftermath of the battle, the base buzzed with celebration and relief. Kara looked around at the faces of her comrades, each one filled with hope and determination. She knew that their fight was far from over, but for the first time she truly believed that they could win. Victor approached her, a proud smile on his face. "You were amazing out there. Your ancestors would be proud." Kara smiled back, her heart full. "Thank you, Victor, for everything." He took her hand in his, their fingers entwining. "This is just the beginning. Together, we'll bring down Krelith and build a future where no one has to live in chains." Kara nodded, her resolve stronger than ever. She had found her purpose, her strength, and her place in the fight for freedom. And with Victor by her side, she knew that anything was possible. Amidst the aftermath of the battle, the resistance continued to regroup and plan their next moves. Victor and Kara, now recognized as key leaders, found themselves working closely together. Their late-night strategy sessions often turned into long conversations about their hopes, fears, and dreams. One evening, as the sun set over the forested landscape of Oris, Victor and Kara took a moment to escape the chaos and walk through the serene woods. The air was filled with the scent of blooming flowers and the sounds of nocturnal creatures stirring. Kara glanced at Victor, her heart beating a little faster. "It's strange, isn't it, finding moments of peace in the midst of war?" Victor smiled, his eyes warm as he looked at her. "It is, but it's these moments that remind us what we're fighting for." They walked in comfortable silence for a while, the connection between them growing stronger with each passing moment. Victor finally spoke, his voice soft. "Kara, I've been thinking a lot about us, about what we've been through together." Kara's breath caught in her throat. She had felt the same connection, the same pull towards him, but hadn't dared to hope. "Victor, Before she could finish, Victor gently took her hand. "I don't know what the future holds, but I do know that I want to face it with you. You've changed my life in ways I never imagined." Kara felt tears well up in her eyes. "You saved me, Victor. You showed me what it means to be free, to fight for something bigger than myself." Victor pulled her closer, their faces inches apart. "And you showed me what it means to truly care for someone. I love you, Kara." Kara's heart swelled with emotion. "I love you too, Victor." Their lips met in a tender kiss, sealing the bond that had been growing between them. In that moment, they found solace and strength in each other, knowing that together they could face anything. The days that followed were filled with intense preparation. The resistance, bolstered by their recent victory and the newfound knowledge from the Thalian scrolls, planned a major offensive against Krelith's main stronghold. The goal was clear: to strike a decisive blow that would cripple Krelith's empire and free countless others from slavery. Victor and Kara, now openly a couple, led the planning with determination and resolve. The resistance forces gathered on Oris, their numbers swelling as word spread of the upcoming assault. The atmosphere was charged with a mix of anticipation and tension. On the day of the attack, the resistance fleet took to the skies, their ships converging on Krelith's fortress. The stronghold was a massive structure, heavily fortified and bristling with defenses. It loomed like a dark monolith, a symbol of Krelith's tyranny. As the fleet approached, Victor addressed the resistance fighters over the comms. "This is it, everyone. Today, We fight not just for ourselves, but for all those who have suffered under Kralith's rule. Stay strong, stay united, and we will prevail. The battle began with a thunderous clash. The resistance ships engaged Kralith's forces in a fierce dogfight. The sky lit up with the glow of energy blasts and explosions. On the ground, resistance troops stormed the fortress, using the advanced technology Kara had unlocked to breach the formidable defenses. Kara and Victor led a small team into the heart of the stronghold, their path fraught with danger. They fought side by side, their movements synchronized and their resolve unshakable. As they advanced, they encountered heavy resistance, Kralith's elite guards fighting to protect their master. Finally, they reached the central chamber, where Kralith awaited them. The Overlord was a towering figure, his presence radiating power and malice. The confrontation that followed was brutal and intense, with Kralith using every weapon and tactic at his disposal to fend off the attackers. Victor and Kara fought with everything they had, their love and determination fueling their strength. At a critical moment, Kara accessed the knowledge from the Thalian scrolls, using it to activate a hidden weapon that disrupted Kralith's defenses. With a final coordinated effort, they brought the Overlord to his knees. As Kralith lay defeated, Victor looked around at the battered but victorious resistance fighters. "We did it. The stronghold has fallen." Cheers erupted from the team, their voices echoing through the chamber. The fall of Kralith's stronghold marked a turning point in the war, a victory that would inspire countless others to rise up against oppression. With Kralith's stronghold in ruins and his forces in disarray, the resistance pushed forward, liberating planet after planet from the grip of tyranny. The momentum was on their side, but they knew the war was not yet over. Kralith himself remained at large, a shadow lurking in the dark corners of the galaxy. Intelligence reports indicated that Kralith had retreated to a hidden base deep within the uncharted regions of space. The Resistance prepared for one final mission, to find and eliminate Kralith once and for all. Victor and Kara, now seasoned leaders and celebrated heroes, led the mission. Their team consisted of the best fighters and strategists the Resistance had to offer. They embarked on the journey with a mix of determination and trepidation, knowing that this final confrontation would be their toughest challenge yet. The journey to Kralith's base was long and perilous, filled with dangers and obstacles. The uncharted regions were treacherous, with unknown threats lurking at every turn. But the team pressed on, driven by the knowledge that Kralith's defeat would bring lasting peace to the galaxy. When they finally located the base, hidden within a massive asteroid field, the team prepared for the final assault. The base was heavily guarded, a fortress of steel and stone. The approach was fraught with peril, but the team moved with precision and coordination, using every trick and tactic they had learned. Inside the base, the corridors were dark and labyrinthine, a maze designed to confuse and disorient. The team split into small groups, each tasked with securing a different part of the base. Victor and Kara led the main group, pushing towards the central command chamber where Kralith awaited. The final confrontation was fierce and desperate. Kralith, cornered and furious, unleashed his full power, using dark technologies and forbidden techniques. The battle raged through the corridors and chambers of the base, the air thick with the sounds of combat. In the midst of the chaos, Kara and Victor fought side by side, their love and determination giving them strength. They moved as one, their actions perfectly synchronized. At a critical moment, Kara used the last of the Thalian knowledge to disable Kralith's defenses, leaving him vulnerable. With a final, coordinated strike, Victor and Kara brought Kralith down. The Overlord fell, his reign of terror finally at an end. The team gathered around, their faces etched with relief and triumph. As the base began to collapse, Victor and Kara led the team to safety. They emerged into the light of the stars, the weight of their victory sinking in. The galaxy was free, Kralith's empire shattered. Victor turned to Kara, his eyes filled with pride and love. "We did it. It's finally over." Kara smiled, her heart full. "We did it together." Their victory was complete, but their journey was far from over. The galaxy, freed from the shadow of tyranny, now looked to them for guidance and leadership. And together, They were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. With Kralith's defeat and the fall of his empire, the galaxy began a new chapter. The Resistance transformed from a rebel force into a coalition of liberated planets, working together to rebuild and restore what had been lost. Victor and Kara, hailed as heroes, found themselves at the forefront of this monumental task. The first planet they focused on was Thalios, Kara's home. As their ship descended through the atmosphere, Kara felt a mix of emotions. She had dreamt of returning for so long, and now she was back, not as a slave, but as a liberator and leader. The landing site was filled with freed slaves and resistance fighters who had come to welcome them. Kara stepped off the ship, her eyes scanning the familiar landscape. It was scarred by war, but the spirit of its people remained unbroken. Victor stood beside her, his hand resting reassuringly on her shoulder. "This is your moment, Kara." She nodded, her heart pounding with a mix of pride and apprehension. She took a deep breath and addressed the crowd. "Today we begin to rebuild Thalios. Our suffering has ended, and our future is in our hands. Together, we will restore our home and build a world where no one lives in chains." The crowd erupted in cheers, their faces alight with hope. Kara felt a surge of determination. She spent the following days working tirelessly with the people, organizing efforts to rebuild infrastructure, restore agriculture, and heal the wounds of war. Victor coordinated with the new coalition government, ensuring that resources and aid were distributed where they were needed most. His leadership and tactical skills were invaluable in maintaining order and progress. As the days turned into weeks, the scars of war slowly began to fade. Buildings rose from the rubble, fields blossomed with new crops, and communities began to thrive once more. Kara's leadership inspired others, her resilience a beacon of hope for all. One evening, as the sun set over the newly restored capital, Kara and Victor stood on a balcony overlooking the city. The sky was painted with hues of orange and pink, a symbol of the dawn of a new era. Kara leaned against the railing, her eyes filled with emotion. "We've come so far, but there's still so much to do." Victor nodded, his gaze steady. "We'll take it one step at a time, together." Kara turned to him, her heart swelling with gratitude and love. "I couldn't have done any of this without you, Victor." Victor smiled, his eyes soft. "And I couldn't have done it without you, Kara." They stood there, side by side, ready to face the challenges of rebuilding a galaxy scarred by tyranny, but filled with hope for a brighter future. As the coalition continued its efforts to rebuild, the newly formed government faced numerous challenges. Re-establishing trade routes, negotiating peace treaties, and integrating diverse cultures and societies into a unified front required patience, diplomacy, and unwavering commitment. Kara took on a significant role in these efforts, her unique perspective and diplomatic skills proving invaluable. She traveled to various planets, meeting with leaders and representatives, fostering unity and cooperation. Her story of survival and resilience resonated with many, inspiring them to join the cause. Victor, meanwhile, focused on maintaining security and stability. He organized defense forces, ensuring that the fledgling coalition was protected from remnants of Kralith's regime and other external threats. His strategic mind and experience in warfare were crucial in these uncertain times. Their relationship, though tested by their responsibilities, grew stronger. They found moments of solace and support in each other, their bond a source of strength and comfort. However, they also faced the complexities of balancing their personal and professional lives. One evening, after a particularly challenging day of negotiations, Kara returned to their quarters, feeling the weight of her responsibilities. She found Victor poring over strategic reports, his face etched with concern. She approached him, her hand resting on his shoulder. "You've been at this all day. Take a break." Victor looked up, his eyes tired but warm. "I could say the same to you. How were the talks?" Kara sighed, sitting beside him. "Progress is slow, but it's there. It's just exhausting." Victor nodded, placing his hand over hers. "We're doing the best we can, and we're making a difference." Kara leaned into him, finding comfort in his presence. "I know, it's just, I sometimes wonder if we're enough, if we can truly bring lasting peace." Victor wrapped his arm around her, pulling her close. We are enough. We've faced impossible odds before and come out stronger. We'll do it again. Together. Kara smiled, feeling a renewed sense of determination. You're right. Together, we can achieve anything. As they sat there, holding each other, they knew that their path to peace was fraught with challenges. But they also knew that their love and partnership gave them the strength to face whatever came their way. In the midst of their efforts to rebuild the galaxy, Victor and Kara found themselves yearning for a moment of personal joy and celebration. Their love had grown amidst the chaos of war and the struggles of rebuilding, and they both felt that it was time to take their relationship to the next level. One evening, Victor arranged a surprise for Kara. He took her to a secluded spot on Oris, a serene meadow surrounded by towering trees and bathed in the soft light of the setting sun. It was a place of peace and beauty, a stark contrast to the turmoil they had faced together. Kara looked around, her eyes wide with wonder. This is beautiful, Victor. What's the occasion? Victor took her hand, his heart pounding with nervous excitement. Kara, you've been my rock, my partner, and my love. We've faced so much together, and I can't imagine my life without you. Kara's eyes filled with emotion as she realized what was happening. Victor. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small, intricately designed ring. It was a symbol of their journey, crafted from the metal of the ship that had brought them together and inlaid with a crystal that represented the unity of their worlds. Kara, will you marry me? Victor asked, his voice filled with love and hope. Tears streamed down Kara's face as she looked at the man who had changed her life in ways she had never imagined. Yes, Victor. Yes, I will marry you. Victor slipped the ring onto her finger and they embraced, their hearts full of joy and love. In that moment, surrounded by the beauty of nature and the promise of a brighter future, they knew that their bond was unbreakable. Their wedding was a symbol of hope and unity for the entire galaxy. Representatives from different planets, cultures, and species gathered to celebrate their union, a testament to the new era of peace and cooperation that they had helped to create. The ceremony was held in a grand hall on Oris, decorated with flowers and banners from across the coalition. Kara wore a dress that combined traditional Thalian elements with human designs, a symbol of her dual heritage and the unity of their worlds. Victor stood beside her, looking every bit the proud and loving partner. As they exchanged vows, promising to stand by each other through all of life's challenges, the gathered crowd erupted in applause and cheers. Their love story had inspired many, and their marriage was a beacon of hope for a galaxy striving to rebuild and heal. After the ceremony, they danced under the stars, surrounded by friends and allies. The celebration was filled with laughter, music, and joy, a moment of pure happiness amidst the ongoing efforts to secure peace. As the night drew to a close, Victor and Kara stood together, looking out at the galaxy that they had fought so hard to save. Their journey had been long and arduous, but they had found each other and built a future filled with love and hope. Here's to our future, Victor said, raising a glass. Kara smiled, her heart full. To our future, and to the galaxy we're building together. They clinked their glasses, sealing their promise to continue fighting for peace and justice, side by side, for the rest of their lives. The dawn of a new era had arrived. With Victor and Kara's wedding marking the symbolic unity of their worlds, the galaxy was ready to embrace a future defined by peace, cooperation, and shared prosperity. The newlyweds, now recognized as pivotal leaders, were committed to guiding the coalition through this transformative period. The day after their wedding, Victor and Kara convened with the coalition's council to outline their vision for the future. The meeting was held in a grand chamber on Oris, with representatives from every liberated planet in attendance. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation and hope. Kara addressed the assembly first, her voice steady and confident. We have fought long and hard to reach this point. Our journey has been fraught with challenges, but we have proven that unity and resilience can overcome even the greatest of evils. Now it is time to build a future where every being in this galaxy can live in freedom and dignity. Victor stepped forward, his presence commanding respect. Our victory over Kralith was just the beginning. We must continue to work together, to heal the wounds of the past, and create systems that ensure justice and equality for all. Let us use this opportunity to lay the foundations for a galaxy where tyranny has no place. The council members responded with enthusiastic applause, their faces reflecting a renewed sense of purpose. The discussions that followed were productive and collaborative, with representatives sharing ideas and pledging resources to the cause of rebuilding. As the meeting concluded, Victor and Kara took a moment to reflect on their journey. They stood on a balcony overlooking the bustling city of Oris, watching as people from diverse backgrounds worked together to create something beautiful. Kara leaned against the railing, her eyes filled with determination. "We've come so far, but there's still so much to do. We need to ensure that the peace we've fought for is lasting and that every planet has a voice in our coalition." Victor nodded, his expression resolute. "We'll take it one step at a time. We've shown that we can achieve the impossible. Now, we'll build on that momentum." Their first major initiative was the establishment of the Galactic Council, a governing body composed of representatives from each member planet. The Council's purpose was to oversee the reconstruction efforts, mediate disputes, and develop policies that promoted equality and justice. Kara played a crucial role in forming the Council, using her diplomatic skills to ensure that every voice was heard. She traveled extensively, visiting planets to understand their unique challenges and aspirations. Her empathy and wisdom earned her the respect and trust of leaders across the galaxy. Victor, meanwhile, focused on strengthening the coalition's defenses and maintaining stability. He worked with military leaders to form a united defense force, designed to protect the coalition from any external threats. His strategic acumen and experience in combat were instrumental in ensuring the security of their fledgling government. The months that followed were filled with hard work and significant progress. The coalition successfully rebuilt infrastructure, revived economies, and fostered a culture of cooperation and mutual respect. Former enemies became allies, united by a shared vision of a better future. One of the most significant milestones was the creation of the Interplanetary Academy, an institution dedicated to education, research, and cultural exchange. The Academy attracted scholars, scientists, and students from across the galaxy, promoting understanding and innovation. Kara and Victor were present at the Academy's inauguration, standing before a diverse crowd of eager minds. Kara addressed the assembly, her voice filled with pride and hope. "This academy represents our commitment to knowledge and progress. It is a place where we can learn from each other, where ideas can flourish, and where the seeds of a brighter future are sown." Victor added, "The future of our galaxy depends on the education and empowerment of its people. Let this academy be a beacon of enlightenment, guiding us toward a future of peace and prosperity." As the academy's doors opened, welcoming its first students, Kara and Victor felt a profound sense of accomplishment. They had transformed their dream of a united galaxy into a reality, creating a legacy that would endure for generations. In the years that followed, Kara and Victor continued to lead with wisdom and compassion. Their love and partnership remained a source of strength, inspiring those around them. Together, they navigated the challenges of governance, always staying true to their vision of a just and harmonious galaxy. Their story became legendary, a tale of courage, resilience, and love that transcended the darkest of times. The galaxy they had helped to shape thrived, its people living in freedom and dignity. As they stood on the balcony of their home, overlooking the vibrant city that had risen from the ashes of war, Victor took Kara's hand. "We've done it, Kara. We've created something truly beautiful." Kara smiled, her eyes reflecting the light of the stars. "Yes, we have. And this is just the beginning." With hearts full of hope and love, they looked forward to the future, knowing that together they could overcome any challenge and continue to build a galaxy where peace and justice reigned supreme.